Howard Zinn, master historian. It should surprise no one when a man nearly 90 dies. It is as natural as moonlight, as regular as a rainbow after a summer shower. And yet, the passing of Howard Zinn surprises. He was a few years shy of 90, true, but he was still a bright-eyed and brilliant lecturer whose sense of humor gave a wondrous sparkle to his speeches and humanized his writing. He is perhaps best known for his masterwork, A People's History of the United States, 1492 to present, which sold millions of copies. Zinn was an adherent of the History from Below school and wrote from the perspective of the bottoms of society, not the top. He wrote about black slaves fighting for freedom, poor white workers fighting for the right to unionize, native folks fighting for sovereignty, women fighting for the right to work and vote, soldiers, gay folks, prisoners, and students struggling to learn about the history of their nation. And while Zinn was indeed a brilliant, groundbreaking historian, he doesn't write about the poor with a scholar's touch. He grew up desperately poor in New York, joined the Air Force during the Second World War, and became a bombardier. Like many young service people, he read incessantly. When he left the service, he used his GI Bill to study at Columbia, where he earned his PhD. And while he earned an advanced degree, he learned things he hadn't planned on when he taught at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, for his teaching took place during the eruption of the Civil Rights Movement and student protests against the U.S. apartheid system of segregation. Spelman, a black women's college, had its share of activists who, when they tried to leaflet, were stopped, threatened, and prevented from leafleting by the cops. Zinn, teaching legal history and constitutional law to many of these students, learned that what the law books and cases said meant nothing in the real-life world of Georgia's apartheid. In his 1990 book, Declarations of Independence, Zinn wrote, "The law was plain. A series of Supreme Court decisions made the right to distribute leaflets on a public street absolute. It would be hard to find something in the Bill of Rights that was more clear-cut than this. I told my students this, but I knew immediately that I must tell them something else, that the law didn't much matter. If they began handing out leaflets on Peachtree Street, and a white policeman, all policemen were white in Atlanta at that time, came along and said, 'Move,' what could they do? Cite the relevant Supreme Court cases to the policeman?" This was Atlanta, 1961, and the movement taught Zinn many realities about America. Howard Zinn, historian, activist, playwright, prodigious writer, father of the People's History Movement. Friend, from death row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noel Hanrahan of Prison Radio.